people that you actually trade with to not trust you, to cause an uproar, to cause a war?
I tell you what I've seen a problem with. We become an hourglass economy.
Can you answer that question first?
Yeah, I will.
The question is either yes, you see a problem with it, or no, you don't see a problem with it. And
no, because sometimes when you do a paradigm shift in the way you do business, you have to do it in a way that makes people stand up and pay attention. Now,
okay,
is that
you don't see a problem with it? You don't see a problem with it? Okay, go ahead.
Well, I'm just saying. Well, I'm saying this. I've watched since the early '80s, men and women have their livelihoods just decimated while multinational corporations run to the cheapest markets in the world. And we don't seem to have a problem with the little kids over in Africa mining cobalt. We don't have a problem with the Uyghurs over in China. That's basically
Uyghurs.
The Uyghurs.
Uyghurs. Don't say Uyghurs. That sounds.
Well, yeah, I'm sorry, I pronounced it wrong, but you know what I'm talking about. It's a Muslim population.
I didn't know.
Can you spell it?
Well, it's a Muslim population. Basically, is being used for slave labor. We don't have a problem with that as long as we can get our iPhones a little bit cheaper. That's cool. But the idea, there's a small town from where I live. Within the last 50 years, it went from a vibrant little town to losing 3 factories, and it's become basically a crap hole because there's no work. People's running around working at gas stations, working at Walmart, and while they're sitting there doing that, the town's going to hell. When I lived down in North Carolina, the textile industry in the early 80s was just taken out. These were hundreds of people. Now, we have all this concern, but since the 80s, as we've allowed multinational corporations to gut our working families, no one cared about them. I'm still making a good living. Joe, he lost his job down at Black & Decker. Well, you know, good luck, Joe. I'm going to keep buying this cheap stuff, and I'm going to make my money go as far as I can while you get gutted. And while the multinationals send everything offshore looking for the cheapest, I worked for a Fortune 100 company. We had a decision one time to go into Asia and start trying to acquire market share. We could either put our plant in Australia or we could have put it in Indonesia. We put it in Australia because we didn't face the environmental controls. We could expose the workers whatever we wanted to. We could dump the crap right into waters. Australia, you couldn't do that. So guess what? They put it in Indonesia for those factors. They didn't face any kind of environmental controls. They could expose their workers and, hey, sorry you got cancer, but good luck. Come on in, Joe. You're taking his place.
I don't know what you're saying right now. Are you guys following him?
No, I got an answer for him. I do have an answer for him. I know the reason why he feels that way. This is exactly what has allowed Donald Trump to actually come into power. So you have to take a bit of a look into history. So we've been here before. So in the late 1800s, you had Carnegie and the Rockefellers, right? So they were able to monopolize the industry, and therefore nobody else could come into the market. So after that, you had the Great Depression, and following that Great Depression, then you had the New Deal, which meant that corporations were split up, and the corporation tax was 40%, somewhere around there, 40 or 45%, somewhere around there. And then also wealth tax, which was 90%. So after a certain bracket, you have to pay much as 90% of it. So which was very, very high. So that led to after the Second World War, everything was decimated, well, especially in Europe, but America wasn't touched by it. So what led to the 1950s? One second. Between 1950 and 1970, you had a booming middle class because there were factories and so forth, less automations and so forth. Therefore, it required people to work in factories. That meant also education. Government, with the taxes and so forth, they were able to educate people, which uplifted the people at the bottom and then into the middle class. So you had a booming world. So the vision that you have, it is of that 1950s and 1960s vision. And this is what Donald Trump is also seeing that. But the world has shifted.
And black
even if the factories are being more productive in terms of employment and labor, that has been going down. And the reason is actually because of automation and so forth. So even if you get factories back into the United States, they're going to be new factories with much more sophisticated automation. So in terms of people going to work there, that's not going to happen. So there'll be less people working in this factory. So what the feeling that you have, it is to do with Ronald Reagan and Margaret Thatcher in England. They both actually decided to favor the corporation and decided to cut corporation tax and also to deregulate things even more. So which meant that since 1970 up until now, average people's income and their wealth has not gone up. So what you feel about Detroit and all of these things, that comes from these policies that has been implemented. And you're right, these corporations, because of profit, they have gone to other places because it's more profitable for them to move their factories and to run their factories somewhere else other than into wealthy nations like the United States, because you have to pay higher income. So if you want to be competitive in this global landscape, and if you want to sell things in the global world, then you need to be able to produce things at a lower cost. That's not going to go away.
That was a long ride home, friend. I
know. I'm just trying to explain why people are feeling this way.
I get it, but you're trying to explain something away, because at the end of the day, we're not there when it comes down to manufacturing. We just aren't. And then to try to compare to what happened post, 1800s, post before 1960, when after the war and things started going out to these other countries, we are here now. Right?
It's just a pipe dream. I'm just trying to say, it's just a pipe dream.
But hold up. You've been talking a lot. You need to drink some water. 1 second. So to underestimate the fact of the cost of manufacturing here in the States, it doesn't make sense. It just doesn't make sense. I don't see how it could benefit us from an economic standpoint. Just from the fact that the workers alone are going to cost more to fund here than it does in another country. So that alone, I just don't even see how we can make the money off of it. I'm sorry? Huh?
Y'all keep leaving out the private financial market. Like the whole time we've been talking about this
private financial market. Okay, go ahead, sir.
What the hell?
Go ahead.
The hell what? Go ahead, so we can.
No, go ahead, sir. No, please, don't stay focused. Go ahead.
I am staying focused. She has something that she's not understanding.
So it's okay, babe. I'm the one with the beat. So go ahead.
First lady, calm down.
Go ahead.
What was your point that you wanted?
You started talking about private.
To better understanding of what you meant by while this conversation was going on, how the private financial market was being excluded.
Yes.
So we wanted you to expound.
Right. Okay. So we keep on missing the private financial sector. That is the crypto market. That's your stable coins. That's your meme coins. That's the Bitcoin, Ethereum, all that. Are y'all not paying attention to that?
But that's
Hold on.
No. why don't you educate us? Go ahead.
Yeah, thank you.
Educated on what? What points?
On crypto. What are you in it? Why don't you tell us about it and how it's going to transform the economy? I want to hear what.
You don't know the name of your God. I mean,
No, I haven't written the text. No, I have not written the text.
yeah, but you should know the name of your God. That's what's supposed to be a creator, right? Isn't that a problem? Wouldn't that be kind of retarded if you're creating the religion? But not, I mean, I don't know if that's an accepted word nowadays. But if you're creating the religion whereby you don't know the name of the creator, then I mean, that's kind of backwards, right? What's the concept for creation?
So I asked ChatGPT what God's name is, and